He's with the boys. He's in the boys' room.
When the sun goes down and the moon comes up, I turn into a teenage goo-goo muck.
I'm full of surprises, Observer.
Through the city and I roam the streets, looking for something that is nice to eat.
No, you can't.
You better duck when I show up. The goo-goo muck.
Thank you, Rory. She already knows it.
I'm the ninth head hunter looking for some head. With a way out body underneath that head. Yeah, I'll get you, baby, with a little luck.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Izzy.
'Cause I'm a teenage tiger and a goo-goo muck. You better duck
When I show up, the goo-goo mug.
Yeah, the city is a jungle and I'm a beast. I'm a teenage tiger looking for a feast.
Thank you, guys. Chill out, Leanne. It's Monday night. Relax, babe.
'Cause I'm a goo-goo muck tiger and a teenage beast. You better duck when I show up. The goo-goo muck.
I need a lolly. Let me go get a lolly and then we'll start.
When the sun goes down and the moon comes up, I turn into a teenage goo-goo muck. Yeah, I cruise through the city and I roam the streets, looking for something that is nice to eat. You better duck when I show up. The goo-goo muck. I'm the ninth head hunter looking for some head. With a way out body underneath that head. Yeah, I'll get you, baby, with a little luck. 'Cause I'm a teenage tiger and a goo-goo muck.
Hello, everyone. Right, we're just seeing like a villain. I'm an evil villain, okay? I'm like Dr. Evil. Right, okay, hello. Hi, everyone. Right, this is just like a first tester because we're just going to have to play by ear and see how it works. What would you like me to do? Go through all the clips and talk first, then open boxes at the end for discussion and everyone can have little debates? And people better fucking jump in the boxes. Hmm? I know I need to do polls and stuff throughout because I want to get up the populars. Where are we? We've had a head start today, so we're doing okay. Yeah, we'll do box at the end and then people can come in and have their says and their opinions on what they think. So obviously, like, we're not going to have the answer, but we'll have different theories. I might have to put Wolfie in his bed because I feel like he's just going to purr like this all night. Everyone say hello and goodbye at the same time to Wolfie. Look at them like evilly. We need to look evil, Wolfie. Look evil. Hello and goodbye. Right, let me go. The boys didn't want him in the room anymore, so let me put him to bed. He's not scary, he's cute. Hello. Right, okay, so I thought first one I'm going to do is pyramids because I feel like everyone knows quite a bit about pyramids, and if you don't, then you will today. So, there is many theories about the pyramids, and oh, ignore the cabaret show clip. That's for tomorrow's FYP. So, what shall I start with? So there's many different theories. So they think there was a straight ramp. This is what most people go off, right? The straight ramp theory, which would have to be, when you work it out, that would mean that the ramp going up to the pyramids would need to be like a mile long because of what's the fucking thing? The diagonalness of it. So there's the straight ramp theory. There's also a giants theory. So they could potentially be built by giants. Now we'll get into that properly, like how the giants come into it, what the origin of the giants was, the gradient. That's the word, Terry. You'll all have to tell me because I'm just as uneducated as you guys right now. Presentation. Yes, this is a PowerPoint presentation. Aliens theory. Now this one I don't really believe in. Oh my god, I need a new live goal. Can you remind me when I need to do live goals and things like this? Because I'm shit at noticing when they've been completed. Sorry, just bear with me. I'm so fucking unprepared. This is just a practice run, okay? So there's the aliens theory. Dry run, yes, that's what it is. where's, here we go, 1 second. There we go, right. So we've got the aliens theory. I don't believe the aliens theory. I think it sounds so far-fetched. Because, to be honest, we can go into aliens one day, but I just really don't believe in aliens, like, that they do that. I believe in aliens, but I don't believe that they do come here just to build pyramids. That's wild. That you wouldn't fly in a ship from one planet to another to build some fucking pyramids for somebody else for free. Do you know what I mean? No one's doing it. Water shaft theory. I'm not sure about this one either. I don't really think we're going to delve into that one too much. Lever in. I'm not entirely sure on this one. Like this, I think this is what was by the book. I feel like this is what you learn in school would be the theory. Like they all did this, and I just don't believe that either. I think it's giants. Sound levitation. I don't believe this one either, but we'll get to it. So,
built the ancient pyramids that still stand today? The ancient Egyptians come to mind, but let's look into a fascinating theory that suggests the involvement of a mysterious and ancient race known as the Nephilim. The pyramids of Egypt, with their precise construction and mathematical precision, have puzzled researchers for centuries. But what if there's more to their story than meets the eye? Could a legendary race of giants mentioned in various ancient texts have been the masterminds behind these awe-inspiring structures? According to ancient texts like the Book of Enoch, the Nephilim were believed to be the offspring of divine angels and humans.
Thank you, Kelly.
Legends speak of their extraordinary strength, advanced knowledge, and colossal size. But could these legendary beings have left their mark on the world through the pyramids? Some theorists argue that the sheer scale and precision of the pyramids' construction go beyond the capabilities of ancient civilizations. From the colossal blocks weighing tons to the precise alignment with celestial bodies, there are compelling pieces of evidence that suggest that these beings provided the knowledge, strength, and guidance needed to build these magnificent structures. Have you ever...
So I'm right in believing that these beings, there's a part in the Bible about these beings, isn't there? Is it where the angels like messed around with the humans and then they created this being? Am I right in thinking that? Does anyone know? Has anyone read the Bible? I've only read the Bible a couple of times when I was younger. In the Book of Enoch, yes. So, yeah, the fallen angels, yeah. And they were kind of messing around with us people, and then they created these beings. So
things humans weren't meant to see. A man traveled to Egypt and placed a remote-controlled car inside one of the pyramids.
This isn't what I want to show you.
How did the Egyptians build these pyramids? What if we had 30 to 40 foot giants on this planet? They built the pyramids, but to them they were just like small little rocks. Genesis makes a direct correlation between giants and mankind.
But there are also hieroglyphics of giants just physically lifting these stones up.
How did the Egyptians...
Right, this is one section that I think we should... BFG's real. Oh my god, this is so unserious. Okay, so the hieroglyphics are the bit that confuses me the most. So I don't know about you guys, but obviously in the hieroglyphics and the paintings and things on the walls inside the pyramids, there's a lot of very tall people with very small people. Now, what other meaning would it have other than it literally being tall people and small people? So unless there was some sort of hidden message that maybe they had, maybe it was a way they represented like more royal people in Egypt rather than the lesser important people, maybe they would make drawn as smaller. I don't know, there could be like a hidden annotation. But we will never know that because we weren't there. That was to show status or to show God. That's what I thought, Pie Man. So I thought the people that were obviously more important would be drawn bigger. But obviously now people are saying, is it because it was because of the giants? And they're trying to literally tell you giants built these. Who knows? But this is the bit that confuses me the most. So there's like many different... Now the other thing that's confusing me with the pyramids is how do they go very low down? Because I've got a clip here of a scientist and he travelled all the way down as low as he could into the tombs. And it took him a week to get all the way down there. So then it's kind of like the iceberg effect, isn't it? They just look small on top, but they actually go all the way down. Now that, I'm sorry, but that would take absolutely, that wouldn't be like a few years build, like a fucking Persimmon Homes. That's going to take centuries, if anything, decades, centuries potentially to build. Because these people would not be able to survive. Just normal average people like us lifting that kind of limestone. Because obviously they need to get the limestone from the quarries. And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but the nearest quarry was ages away. It was nowhere near where the pyramids are. Because they obviously need the limestone to then bring it back to make the pyramid. Gravity doesn't exist. Oh my God, let's not get into that right now. Next mod trip, Egypt. Yeah, maybe we should all go on like trips. So if you look at this one, it shows you what inside the tombs are like and how low down they go. I don't care if it's AI, it's interesting. Because it's like an AI representation to show you. But when you just look at how low down...
We finally know what's underneath the pyramids, and these discoveries are groundbreaking. So, Dr. Ramini Demi discovered these cylinder-shaped shafts under the pyramids. This is a more in-detail image of what they suspect and looks like, and instead of using like a robot to see what's down there, he volunteered to go down. He took him a week to reach the bottom, and he was shocked at how perfectly the stairs were built. Like he could not understand how the Egyptians did it.
Yes,
and people
Mary.
had already scanned the pyramids and found what they thought were like the top of these, like, long coils. An old Bible from 1863 even shows 4 pyramids instead of 3. And some explorers from the past have claimed that they found a hidden black pyramid, but no one ever believed them. And in this day and age, a lot of people believe that the pyramids weren't only just tools. They think that they might have been used to create energy, or like power spaceships, or even teleport people. The pyramids also line up with the stars, which makes people wonder if the Egyptians were a lot more advanced than we thought that they were. Or maybe something not even human helps them create these. Now, there is no actual proof to any of this, but it's very fun to think about. What do you believe? Come over here for more freaky. We finally know what's underneath the pyramids, and these discoveries are ground.
No, this is just makes my head fucked, right? Because I'm sat here thinking, we know that like the ground goes very, very low. Like sea level is extremely low, and that's another thing we're going to get into another day about all the sea level and what's below there. Because since I watched I know this is going off topic, but since, you know, that film The Meg, and then it says it's got that like some sort of fucking, I don't even know what it was. It was like the pressure level thing, and then underneath it, you would just die if you went underneath it. You wouldn't cope under it. And that made me actually, thermal layer, that's what it was called, the thermal layer. And after that, like, it's just a whole new world. I want to investigate into that and see if that's actually a thing and what could potentially be down there, because I do believe there is scary creatures underneath there. But that's for another day. So do we think that the pyramids were actually built all that time ago. That I can't. What year do they say pyramids were built? Let's have a look. What year was it? (2612 BCE and 664 BC). The pyramids of Giza were built in the 4th dynasty, around 2575 to 2465 BC. Do we actually believe they're that old? The oldest one's in Bosnia. Really? Do you think? Because I remember reading something a while ago, and it was saying like Cleopatra, who was like one of the most like famous rulers of Egypt, is more closer to like the iPhone being invented than the pyramids being built, which is crazy because when I think of Cleopatra, I think back in this time. I don't think like more our way. Well, I've got some videos about pyramids being in Antarctica. Now, I didn't even know this was a thing. Yeah, and apparently, well, it's not for definite, is it? It's that they're under all the ice and snow, but the way that like the peaks of the mountains, yeah, they're in line with the sun as well. So the faces of the pyramids in Egypt, they all face northeast, southwest exactly. Which obviously I was thinking about this and I thought, well, it's quite easy to do, isn't it? Because you would just look like the sun rises in the east and then sets in the west. So you'd know exactly where to do it. Yeah, and the coordinates at the top of the pyramid, at the point, are the speed of light. Is that not weird? How is that also? That can't be coincidental. So it does. I think this is why people think more about the aliens theory. Oh, I just dropped my lolly. Because we always think in our heads that there's aliens in other planets that are so much more ahead of us, like technology-wise, everything. What if they were for travel? Yes! So what if the pyramids used to move? I don't know though, because they're so heavy. Like the limestone must weigh fucking tons. Like I can't even understand how teleportation maybe. There is theories about them being kind of like power stations, isn't there? Because that's why they think the ones in Antarctica would have been used as like power stations. Like a Stargate, yes. Maybe. This is right, so this is my theory on how I think they were built. That's real, I filmed it. This is what I think happened. So, not to take us back to the Bible and be Bible bashing right now, but do you remember the story of David and Goliath? So, Goliath was basically the king of giants. And David went and somehow beat him with a fucking stone. Just one stone, threw it at him and it took him out. I don't know how that happened. It seems very far-fetched. But there's always been stories in the Bible from years and years ago about giants as well. So they've always been a thing. And the theory in the Bible is that obviously Goliath was from the fallen angels. And like what would the word be? He was I don't know, a product of the fallen angels and humans breeding. Nephilim. Is that how they're pronounced? Nephilim. All I know is the nativity. Fucking hell, Sarah, get some education. I just know the nativity, Mary, Joseph and Jesus. Thank you, CJ. Now, another day we'll go fully into giants and stuff. Right?
What if I told you the pyramids weren't built by slaves or aliens, but by giants? Massive human-like creatures, giants, so strong they could lift stones like they were feathers, not just fantasy giants. I'm talking about beings written in ancient texts called the Nephilim. The Bible in Genesis 6:4 mentions them. There were giants in the earth in those days. These weren't just tall people. They were said to be part human, part divine, offspring of angels and women, stronger, taller, and far more intelligent than normal humans. Now
more to the point, imagine giving birth to one of these, what the fuck?
Here's the wild part. Some Arab and Coptic texts claim these giants were the true builders of the pyramids. One legend says a king named Surid, who may have been a giant himself, built the pyramids before the Great Flood to preserve knowledge from a coming disaster. Think about it. The Great Pyramid of Giza contains over 2 million stone blocks, each weighing up to 80 tons. Even today, with all our tech, it would be a nightmare to recreate. So how did ancient people do it 4,500 years ago without cranes or machines? What if I told you the pyramids weren't built by...
See, that's the bit at the end there that gets me. So these pyramids are so perfectly built to, like, perfection. Like, you can't explain it. If we look at, like, I know it's not the same, but surely, like, our builders who build, like, our new build houses, for example, they're always fucking wonky. They're never perfect. So how the fuck, back in them day when they had no technology to help them, is the accuracy of the buildings so much more on point than our buildings? Which the equivalent... I can't, with our tools, computers, our machinery, any heavy machinery, you know, we've got fucking cranes, anything, we still would not be able to do it to this extent. Because it was giant women. And that's what I can't understand. So... let me go through what else I've got with all the different stuff.
Of Antarctica aren't just snow-covered mountains. They're remnants of an ancient advanced civilization. But that's not even the craziest part. In recently declassified documents and satellite images, there are unmistakable pyramid-like structures buried under the Antarctic ice. So, how old are these pyramids? And who built?
Yeah, but Annie Granny, do you know what I think with the roads and stuff? So basically now we have cars, things like that. So that's what makes our roads not last. So obviously back then they only had horse and carriages at best for transport, really, didn't they? So the roads didn't have much going on them. So that would be why our roads aren't as good now. And obviously I think it's a cheap thing, like it's the council paying for it, and the governments. They don't want to fork out too much money.
This is where things get really interesting. Ancient maps, like the Piri Reis map, depict Antarctica without ice, showing detailed coastlines and even mountain ranges. This implies that advanced civilizations
That's a good
knew
point.
about Antarctica long before modern explorers. New research and excavations suggest that these Antarctic pyramids were built by an advanced civilization that existed thousands of years ago, possibly even predating the last ice age. But once the ice covered the continent, their structures were buried and their technology lost, hidden away from the world to protect it from being misused. The pyramids of Antarctica aren't just snow-covered mountains. They're remnants of an ancient advanced civilization. But that's not even the craziest part. In recently declassified
Jellybean Ricky, you're in a conspiracy live. I don't know if you're aware, this isn't a science lesson. This is a conspiracy live where we all give our opinions and theories. We're allowed to have our conspiracies. And that is what this live is for. If you don't like it, you can F off.
documents and
Humans never built the pyramids. New hieroglyphics have been discovered that prove humans were not responsible for the pyramids. At first, it was thought the Egyptians used ramps, but that wasn't enough. Each block weighs 20 tons, and even 30 or even 100 people could move such a weight. Now imagine if they had to do it on a slope of more than 10 degrees.
Open minds
In addition,
only, yes.
When analyzing the stone used to carve some blocks, scientists discovered that many came from a quarry located more than 800 kilometers from the site of the pyramids. How could humans without technology move between 600,000 and 4 million blocks using only their hands in just 30 years? The mystery remains too great. However, a recent discovery will change everything. After discovering new secret tunnels in one of the pyramids, researchers sent a small camera to see what was hidden inside. Their discovery is so incredible that no one believed it without seeing the images. If you want to see the images before anyone else, click here, then click more, and then click on your browser. Humans never built the pyramids. New hieroglyphics have been discovered that prove humans were not responsible for the pyramids. At first, it was thought
So we only been scratching the surface this entire time? Archaeologists are constantly finding new chambers in the pyramids that go far deeper than the outer ground level of the base. And they still haven't been able to find the bottom yet, so exactly how deep does it go? Tall obelisks like these have been found all over ancient Egypt, each with a pyramid-shaped tip. And the pointy Egyptian pyramids look much different than all the other step-shaped pyramids all around the world, so I wonder why. Almost every other ancient structure was initially buried when we first found it, like the Sphinx, Göbekli Tepe, and Chichen Itza to name a few. Why did we just assume the pyramids were fully showing at first sight? Just like we discovered with the Easter Island statues, the majority of their height is buried underground, with some important text inscribed on the side. Nowhere is it written how the pyramids were built, so it could very well be written on the buried sides here. Now I know, these buried obelisks would have been mother crackin' enormous, far bigger than what any humans would have been able to move. Let's take a second to compare to this national monument in Wyoming called the Devil's Tower. Very old rock and the only one of its size in the area, thought to be a natural formation. On closer look, it looks oddly like a petrified tree stump with many more like it around the world, which if that's the case leads to the question, who cut it down? Maybe the same giants who built these massive obelisks, which possibly got buried after worldwide floods only for the tips to be rediscovered thousands of years later by the Egyptians. Even historic texts such as the Bible refer to a race of giants called the Nephilim, and ancient drawings everywhere all too often show depictions of much larger beings. The evidence of these giants is found all across the world, from the pyramids in Devil's Tower to these giant steps in Peru, the plain of Jars in Laos, Easter Island, Nam Madol in Micronesia, this giant knife found underwater near the coast of Madagascar. All ancient discoveries which were either far too big to be practical or even physically moved by ancient humans. Once is an anomaly, twice is suspicious, but this many times all over the world, I think there's something we don't know here. So we only been scratching the surface this entire time? Archaeologists are constantly finding new chambers in the pyramids that go far deeper than the outer ground level.
This is raw, unfiltered scientific proof of what the pyramids were really built for. This is what a real Egyptian tomb looks like. Dark, enclosed, and filled with hieroglyphs. But this is the Great Pyramid of Giza, the biggest tomb in the world. The closer you look, the more you realize that this pyramid was definitely not made for burying the dead. Why? Because the materials used to build it are exactly what we use today to create electricity. Let's break it down. Giza was once covered in bright white casing stones, polished to perfection and virtually airtight.
Are the catacombs the underground things in Paris? Yeah, so I heard that a lot of homeless people live in the catacombs in Paris. And that it's like people go in there and they don't come out. Like they just they like live a different life. And I think there's a lot of underground cities. I think there's a lot because you've got to think, we'll get to that another night, but you know, like obviously the lost city of Atlantis and things like that. I do believe that that was once above sea level, but maybe sea level rises all the time. Piss off, Darren Thompson.
This is raw, unfiltered scientific proof of what the pyramids were really built for. This is what a real Egyptian tomb looks like. Dark. This is raw, unfiltered, and electric charge from the quartz. Historians don't examine it was sourced from a swan, another quarry. Oh, and it all drags stones the length of Florida just to make the pyramids look nice and shiny? Not quite. This special limestone from Tura has less magnesium than regular limestone, making it an ideal insulator of electricity. Oh, and it also reflects sunlight, keeping the inside cool. Coincidence? Maybe, but let's keep digging. The interior chambers of the pyramid were built with rose granite, which contains asterisk 85% quartz. Quartz is piezoelectric, meaning it generates a small electric charge when moved or squeezed. The same quartz we use to power watch batteries and barbecue lighters. But that's not all. Granite also ionizes the air inside the chamber.
Guys, if we could send Heart Me's popular votes, anything to help with the popular rankings, I'd much appreciate it. Thank you.
Further increasing the conductivity of electricity. And guess what? This granite was sourced from a swan, another quarry, hundreds of miles away. Now here's where it gets weird. The granite slabs inside Giza have these strange structural designs that don't exactly look decorative. In fact, they're incredibly difficult to make. Why would you build a roof like this using 80-ton stone blocks from hundreds of miles away when you can't even see it from inside the chamber? Historians claim these were relieving chambers meant to prevent the room from collapsing under the weight of the pyramid. But here's the kicker. The chambers below had no such relief. On the other hand, if you were somehow able to apply pressure to these chambers, you'd get an electric charge from the quartz. A lot of it. But electricity can't just exist on its own. To utilize it, you need to direct it through something. Enter copper, a metal often used in wires to conduct electricity. And guess what a remote camera revealed in the pyramid's narrow shafts just a few years ago? 2 copper handles embedded into the stone at the end of the shaft, the only metal ever confirmed in Giza. Oh, and there's also what appears to be a wiring diagram painted on the side of the shaft. This is raw, unfiltered scientific proof of what the pyramids were really built for.
So this is what some people think. This is like the water theory with it, that I don't believe this, because I think the limestone would still be too heavy to ever float, no matter what you put on it to help it float, to move it. To be honest, I just don't believe back then they would have had the brains to do this. Because I'm sure each limestone brick is like 7.5 tons. That ain't floating. Like, what are they using to get that to float? I think they had more brains than we do. I don't know. Exactly. Because you would have to teach that then to all the slaves, supposedly, who were doing it.
This is raw, unfiltered scientific proof of what the pyramids were really built for. This is what a real Egyptian tomb.
So this says CIA documents suggest... See, I don't know if I believe this. But it says CIA documents suggest large people who lived on Mars were astral projected themselves to build the pyramids. So this is essentially saying giants, but from Mars. Now, the only thing that makes me not believe that is because Mars is supposed to be a very, very hot planet. Am I right? But I think space and like the solar system will have to go into on another day, because I don't think anything could survive on Mars, I'm sure. Yeah, it's cold. It's gas. Really? I thought it was hot on Mars. Yeah, a guy apparently saw an ancient civilization on Mars while astral projecting. I thought Mars was the hot one. Which planet's the hot one? No water. Yeah, apparently there is no water. I don't believe the moon landing either. Mercury. Oh, yeah, 'cause it's closest to the sun. So it goes Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Jupiter, doesn't it? So Mercury. Mercury would be hottest because that's the closest to the sun. And then Venus. And then us. Venus is? Why is Mercury not then, if that's closer? Maybe it's whatever's on the planet. Maybe stops it from getting hot. I don't know. That's...
This world isn't what you've been told. The Great Pyramid of Giza? It's not just a pile of rocks built by primitive people. We've been lied to. Evidence shows the pyramids were once hit by a massive flood. And the builders, they knew how to tap into Earth's energy. And they understood the stars better than we think. All the pyramids align perfectly with Orion's belt. That's no accident. They probably used that knowledge to harness celestial energy. And here's the crazy part. The materials. Back then, the Nile ran much closer. Ancient water channels brought the river right to the pyramid's base. The base itself? Made of conductive granite filled with quartz crystals. And quartz has a wild property. Put it under pressure, it generates electricity. The pyramid's massive weight kept constant pressure on the quartz, creating a steady charge. Meanwhile, the flowing water around it generated electromagnetic energy, like a natural power plant. Water, granite, quartz, all working together to make power. And the missing capstones? They acted like transmitters, directing and maybe even sending energy wirelessly. These weren't just tombs built by slaves. They were advanced energy machines. Think about it. Why would a tomb need electricity? This world isn't what you've been told. The Great Pyramid of Giza? It's not just a pile of rocks built by primitive people.
Did you know that the Great Pyramid is almost perfectly aligned to what is called true north? Still think it's a coincidence? Well, did you know that the Great Pyramid sides are on the exact line of the equator? And the three pyramids of Giza are perfectly aligned to match the belt of Orion. When you look at all the facts, it doesn't take a genius to understand that whoever built the most accurately aligned structure on Earth was not a simple people group using primitive methods, but incredibly intelligent workers. Did you know that the Great Pyramid is almost perfectly aligned?
See, This is why I don't believe that just regular John Doe built the pyramid, just random John Doe who was treated as a slave in Egypt built a pyramid. That you have to, there's so much more behind it.
The Great Pyramid is literally impossible. Archaeologists will tell you they could build a Great Pyramid, but it's something that doesn't make any sense. In the Great Pyramid, these chambers are roofed and floored with granite beams that weigh about 70 tons each. And there are hundreds of them, which, to put in context, a 70-ton beam is equivalent in weight to 35 large SUVs. These 70-ton granite beams have been elevated to a height of more than 350 feet above the ground and carefully and precisely placed in position. You can say, oh, perhaps they built a ramp, but then you have to confront basic laws of physics. You can't haul a stone weighing tens of tons up a slope that exceeds 10 degrees. Then you start doing the calculation. How long a ramp do I need with a 10-degree slope to get to 350 feet above the ground? And the answer is you need a fucking long ramp. Maybe the idea that psychic powers were cultivated by ancient civilizations, that they could use powers of the human mind that we have allowed to lapse, maybe that idea deserves further consideration. We hear anecdotal reports of people who have telekinetic powers, who can move things with their minds, of people who have telepathic powers, and our automatic reaction is to just dismiss all of that because science says it's impossible. The Great Pyramid is literally impossible. Archaeologists will tell you they could build a Great Pyramid, but it's something that...
Oh God, not them. Oh. So. Not Jasmine the Red Bull popping up. Fucking hell, that's not what we needed. Right. What's this?
Things humans weren't meant to see. A man traveled to Egypt and placed a remote-controlled car inside one of the pyramids.
Yeah. It stops me vaping so
The original
much.
poster claimed to have found something the government would want to keep a secret. He also wanted to be paid $5 million for the rest of the footage to be revealed, but it never did.
I just rolled everywhere.
As it gets deeper, it shows what appears to be a tall figure inside the chambers. Things humans weren't meant to see.
See, when I see things like this, I never know if they're real or not. Like, they're saying there's a figure. It looks like a man in his coat. That could just be some old scientist. I just never know whether to believe these kind of videos. It's like fucking Inspector Gadget with his coat on. That's what it looks like a big trench coat. Where's the one that's got a really good explanation? Is it this one?
Come over here.
No, it's not this
Things
one.
What if I...
Let me find it.
We finally know
that
humans.
So we only been...
This is raw, unfiltered.
Right. Where
This
is
is
it?
raw,
This world is...
Did you know that
The Great Pyramid is literally... The Great...
Did you...
This world isn't what you...
I can't find it. Right, so the straight ramp theory. So here are the different theories. So straight ramp theory. One of several theories for how the ancient Egyptians built the pyramids, proposing that a massive single straight ramp was built from the ground to the top of the pyramid to drag the heavy stones into place. While a straightforward concept, the immense size the ramp would need to be to maintain a manageable slope over a mile long for the Great Pyramid makes it resource intensive. I know that seems like the simplest thing, having a big long ramp, but it's still, to just build a ramp alone would take a long time for the incline of the ramp, everything to make it easy to walk up and down. It just doesn't seem doable, does it? So the giant theory is that the giants pyramid theory is a fringe concept proposing that giants built the Egyptian pyramids, a claim with no scientific or archaeological evidence to support it. Thank you, Ray Flood. Archaeological findings such as worker encampments and quarries, coupled with texts like the Mura Papyrus, I don't know how to pronounce that, demonstrate the pyramids were constructed by thousands of skilled Egyptian labourers using human strength, natural resources, and well understood engineering methods, making the theory a modern myth. Exactly. How would you? The camels look at and build a ramp for my gran for a wheelchair. Fuck off, no. Oh my god, Emma. But then obviously you look at old buildings. So when you look at like these old like minsters and churches and cathedrals, like the like attention to detail with everything is so much more on point than what we would build now, because we're lazy now. We rely too much on technology. So the alien pyramid theory proposes that extraterrestrials built the pyramids or significantly aided in their construction because ancient civilizations lacked the necessary technology to achieve such monumental and precise structures. Proponents, is that the word? Cite unexplained elements like the precision, scale, and advanced mathematical properties of the pyramids as evidence for alien intervention. However, this science is rejected by mainstream archaeology and Egyptology, which cite extensive evidence of Egyptian construction, including the discovery of tombs belonging to pyramid builders. That's the thing, Kez. That's what I always think. Look up the Tartarians. We'll have a look at the Tartarians in a second. Water shaft theory. So the water shaft pyramid theory proposes that water... So that was what we saw with the water going up. The water shaft pyramid theory proposes that the water was used to transport and lift heavy stone blocks during the construction of ancient Egyptian pyramids, using channels, moats, and a system of internal water elevators or sluices to move stones on floats to higher levels. While a compelling idea with some archaeological support, such as potential water treatment facilities and evidence of water throughout the construction site, this theory currently lacks direct conclusive evidence. Levering, I don't know how you pronounce that word. The lever pyramid theory is not a recognized singular theory, but rather a concept combining ancient historical accounts with engineering principles to explain how Egyptian pyramids were built, particularly the upper levels. While ramps were likely used for the lower sections of the pyramid, levers were essential tools to lift the progressively smaller blocks to greater heights where ramps would become impractical or impossible to construct. The theory supported by the Greek historian Herodotus is he called? Writings and experimental evidence suggesting levers could effectively lift heavy stone and blocks. He's starting to think he was the one that built them. And then the sound levitation theory. I think this one's just a load of bullshit. And I mean, if you agree with this one, you're welcome to come up and say, but the sound levitation pyramid theory suggests ancient Egyptians used sound waves to levitate and precisely place large stone blocks during pyramid construction, possibly utilising the pyramid's internal chambers as acoustic amplifiers to generate powerful standing waves. While a popular idea among proponents of ancient lost technology, like Randall Carlson, there is no conclusive scientific or archaeological evidence to support it. The theory remains in the realm of speculation, with many archaeologists and experts dismissing it due to lack of proof and potential conflict. So that would obviously be like watching Stranger Things and fucking Eleven starts lifting up a fucking can of Coke and levitates it. I'll be honest, I'm not saying I don't believe in powers and things like that, because there's some weird shit at Area 51. There's probably something like that going on there. But I just don't believe... You know, when you could know so many people in the world, you'd know somebody that had that power, if that was a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, you get like people who can talk to like dead people, and it's just like, it's just a thing. If I'm honest, is it schizophrenia or is it genuinely a thing? Maybe that's another thing to discuss another night. Do they genuinely speak with the dead, or are they just tapped? Are they mentally ill and they believe they can see something? Is it psychosis? Yeah, is this psychosis or not? That's what we'll do. The only JD can talk to the dead. They don't understand my accent. Does anyone else still try and move things with their mind as an adult? God knows. Right, Carol, what was it you wanted me to search up, Carol, that you told me to have a look at? What did you say, Tartarians or something like that?
Did you know e-scooters existed over 100 years ago? They were known as auto pets, and while most were petrol powered, some did run off of electricity. Which is no surprise because they also had electric cars a century ago as well, which were a common...
I don't think that's the right thing.
The Tartarian conspiracy theory is a controversial belief that suggests the existence of a technologically advanced civilization called Tartaria, which allegedly existed in the past, but has been deliberately erased from history. Proponents of this theory claim that Tartaria was a global empire that spanned continents and possessed advanced architectural, engineering, and energy technologies. According to this theory, Tartaria's existence has been suppressed by a secretive global elite or shadow government who allegedly rewrote history.
That's
and
the same
destroyed
pictures
evidence
I've
of
got.
Tartarian civilization. Supporters of the Tartarian conspiracy theory often point to architectural anomalies, such as ornate buildings and structures found around the world, as evidence of Tartarian influence. The Tartarian conspiracy theory is a controversial belief that suggests the existence...
Now, they're on to me. Oh my God, not Kim Jong-un coming to get me again and shut my Wi-Fi off. Okay, so now this is going to open a whole other wormhole. So, do you think that in the past, we were extremely advanced with technology, and for some reason we got took back to stage one again, like level one, like restarting the level? We got so advanced and then it was like back to the start, you know, like cavemen era. Now, when you think of it like that, so this could, I get what Carol's saying now, because correct me if I'm wrong, Carol, but are you trying to imply that we had this technology back then and then obviously we went back to nothing and started all over again, and that's why we're so confused? Because it's like, why? How did they do that? And do you believe, obviously, I know people don't always believe in religion and the Bible and things like that, but it kind of takes you back to like Noah and the Ark. Now, Noah kept all one of each, well, two of each animal to keep the animals. Is that when we then had to start all over again? Because he didn't put people on the ark. So there was obviously, Noah wasn't the only fucking human. I'm trying to stop vaping so much, Susie. I'm addicted. So I've got to count on lollies. So there was the giant flood, which was to wipe us all out to start again. Was it that we got too advanced and too intelligent? Do you believe that there was, like, we're in some sort of simulation and we were getting out of control as people? I know this is very like Hunger Games style, but it's like we're in some sort of civilization. We're in a simulation. We're controlled. And at one point, they just wiped us all out and started again and just kept the main characters. Yes, that's true. Carol, I like Carol. They wanted to take everything from us and then make us pay for everything. That's what I've always believed. I've always believed, right, that there's something controlling us. Is it God? I don't know. Maybe it is a form of a God. But they are... This is where it gets me. Because then who's controlling them? Who made them real? Who brought them? It's very fucking... It fucks with your head when you think about it like that. Like, so remember, did anyone watch the Black Mirror Bandersnatch episode where it was like a film, Black Mirror film, and you chose what happened in the film? And what you chose would then determine what would happen next. So when I watched that was what opened my mind more to things like this, because I thought, is there somebody out there that is choosing what we do in our lives? Because do you ever have them days where you think you're losing the plot because you've done something and you think, why did I do that? Why have I acted so impulsively and done that? Because it's so out of character to you, and you think, why would I behave like that and act on something like that when that isn't me? Which makes me feel like we're being controlled by something else. I know, Jekyll, I feel the same right now. So I do think with the pyramids, right, this is what my theory now is with the pyramids from all the videos we've watched. Like Sims, yeah, like Sims. I think it is the giants, what were they called? Nephilim? The fallen angels and human interbreed things. I think the Nephilims were real. I think that there was a better... Yes, I think there was technology, electricity, things like that created back then by the Nephilim. And I think that I do want to go into looking at these like extra large tree stump things as well, because this would make sense. Is everything now just smaller than it used to be? Nephilim. I don't know, what do you guys think? I'm definitely heading more towards the giants. The aliens, I don't know, I need to look into aliens a bit more, because something with the aliens doesn't always add up to me, because I don't believe the aliens look a type of way. But I love watching movies and stuff with aliens in, so I can get a bit of like an idea on different potential things. Like, you know, I watched an alien movie called The Greys, or Greys, or something like that. Anunnaki, let me have a look at Anunnaki.
Have you ever heard of the Anunnaki? These ancient beings from Mesopotamian mythology have been the subject of much fascination and debate in recent years. But what if I told you that some people believe the Anunnaki were real and may have actually played a role in human history? According to this theory, the Anunnaki were a group of extraterrestrial beings who came to Earth thousands of years ago. They were said to be highly advanced, possessing knowledge and technology far beyond anything humans of that time could comprehend. But what did they want with us? Some believe that the Anunnaki were responsible for creating humanity, using genetic engineering to create a hybrid race of humans and their own species. Others believe they simply visited Earth to mine for resources, and may have even taught ancient civilizations like the Sumerians advanced techniques like agriculture and metalworking. While there is no concrete evidence to support the existence of the Anunnaki, their legend has persisted for centuries. Whether they were real or simply a myth, their story continues to captivate and inspire those who seek to understand the mysteries of our past. Have you ever heard of the Anunnaki? These ancient beings from Mesopotamian mythology have been...
Have you ever wondered why the Anunnaki are not mentioned in the Bible? The Anunnaki are known as ancient deities from Mesopotamian mythology, who supposedly created humans. However, there is no mention of them in the Bible. Some scholars believe that the reason the Anunnaki were not mentioned in the Bible is because the authors of the Bible were not aware of their existence. Others believe that the Anunnaki were deliberately omitted from the Bible by religious leaders. According to ancient texts, the Anunnaki were powerful beings who were able to live for thousands of years. They were known to have advanced technology and were revered as gods by the Sumerians. It's possible that the leaders of early Christianity did not want to acknowledge the existence of other powerful beings, as it could have threatened their own power and authority. Alternatively, it's possible that the stories of the Anunnaki were simply not included in the Bible because they did not fit with the narrative that early Christians were trying to create. Whatever the reason, the absence of the Anunnaki in the Bible is a mystery that continues to puzzle historians and scholars to this day. Have you ever wondered why the Anunnaki are not mentioned in the Bible? The Anunnaki are known as ancient deities.
Anunnaki lived on a planet called Nibiru, which orbits the Sun in a long elliptical orbit and comes closer to Earth about every 3,600 years. Despite its great distance from the Sun, Nibiru could maintain life because of its internal heat, which provided a stable environment for living. However, problems with the ozone layer began to threaten Nibiru's stability. The threat was becoming more and more serious, prompting Anunnaki to act. They knew that dispersing gold dust in the atmosphere could effectively reflect solar radiation and stabilize their planetary environment. Continued in Part 3. Anunnaki lived on a planet called Nibiru, which orbits the Sun.
Are often depicted wearing what looks like watches. They seem to appear in countless carvings and sculptures, dating back to 4500 BC. So, what could these possibly be? The watches are often seen on the wrists of gods like Anu and Enki, and they were not timekeeping devices. They were a form of advanced technology, used for communication and even energy manipulation. Imagine a device so powerful it could control the elements and even alter reality itself. But it gets even stranger. They are also depicted with handbags. These items are not only seen in Sumerian art, but also in art from ancient Egypt, Central America, and Turkey. Some theories suggest these bags are portable repositories of knowledge and that they contained tools or devices used for creating and maintaining the cosmos. These depictions are often connected with the Anunnaki, and they prove that human society was far more advanced in the past than it is in the present day. Our ancestors carved and drew what they saw. It was not a figment of their imagination. They carved animals, plants, and structures that all exist. Yet people seem to think they imagined these watches or handbags. What do you think? Were our ancestors more advanced than we give them credit for? Are often depicted wearing what looks like watches. They seem to appear in countless carvings.
Do you think? Yeah, I was just thinking that, like with crop circles as well. I saw a crop circle once when I was on a flight. And I was drunk on the flight as well. I was on the way to Benidorm and I crashed out because I just saw this random field with a massive crop circle in. And I was like, nah, there's aliens.
Nibiru, often referred to as the planet of the crossing, holds a prominent place in both ancient Sumerian mythology and modern speculative theories. Described as a massive, red, and erratically orbiting celestial body, Nibiru is said to traverse the outer reaches of our
No, it wasn't
solar
in
system,
Benidorm.
making its presence known every 3,600 years. This periodic close encounter with Earth is believed to have had significant geological and climatic impacts on our planet, with some even suggesting that past cataclysms were caused by its approach. The Anunnaki civilizations live on this planet, which are Sirians, Pleiadians, Dracoinians, Lyrans, and Andromedan Greys, all are Atlantean citizens. In the mythologies and religions of numerous ancient civilizations, the Anunnaki, meaning those who descended from heaven, were humanoid beings who genetically transformed early hominids into modern humans. They were neither gods nor demons, but rather humanoids from another dimension, serving under the creator of all. Nibiru, often referred to as
What is it? Ugh.
From stone walls to space telescopes, humanity has always recorded the same visitors. Cave paintings show beings kneeling beneath glowing objects. Ancient texts warn of watchers descending from the heavens. And today, telescopes capture interstellar wanderers. Oumuamua in 2017, Borisov in 2019, and now 3I Atlas. The pattern stretches across thousands of years. Were these cosmic rocks or ancient probes? The question isn't what they are, but who. From stone walls to space telescopes, humanity has always recorded the same visitors. Cave paintings show beings kneeling beneath glowing objects.
It is weird. Thank you, Ray Flawed. What the fuck just happened? See, I don't believe any of these videos that are not like AI and photoshopped. This is what makes it so hard with our technology now, because it's like, you just don't believe
When
anything
astronomers
you see.
overlaid this ancient map with our modern sky chart in 2017, when Oumuamua was approaching, the same object appears, in the same region, from the same direction. Now, 3I Atlas comes from the same distant part of the vast universe. The ancients didn't call them space rocks. They called them gods. They painted them, carved them, worshipped them. The first one appears to have been a probe. But what about this one? Are they returning? Their star map is so accurate, it defies explanation. How is this possible? When astronomers overlaid this ancient map with our modern sky chart in 2017, when Oumuamua was approaching, the same object appears, in the same region, from the same...
See, this can't all just be coincidental. See, like, when you deep everything, really, like, everything's connected. And there's got to be somewhere in the world where they hold all this information and it's so classified that none of us are allowed to see it. And it would be like the end of the world if it got out to us all. Like, the whole world would just lose it. You think the Vatican?
Newly released image of 3I Atlas confirms it's not a comet, stunning researchers worldwide.
An enormous object is speeding past planets in our solar system at impossible speed. This thing is massive, glowing, and following a perfect path that looks more like a planned mission than a random rock floating through space. Harvard professor Avi Loeb is making bold claims that this could be alien technology. Could this be a spaceship scouting our solar system? Is it connected to Oumuamua? And are we ready for what this could mean for humanity? Alien object racing toward Earth. This object, called 3I Atlas, was traveling at over 130,000 miles per hour through our solar system. That speed is so amazing that you could fly from New York to Los Angeles in just over 1 minute if you could somehow catch a ride. But speed was only the beginning of what made this visitor so mysterious and potentially frightening. Within 24 hours of its discovery, NASA experts confirmed what many suspected, but few wanted to say out loud. 3I Atlas had come from somewhere far beyond our solar system, crossing the vast emptiness between stars where no human spacecraft had ever traveled. The object was moving so fast that even our sun's massive gravitational pull couldn't trap it in orbit, meaning it would eventually shoot back out into the cosmic void unless something deliberately slowed it down. But here's where things get really disturbing. This wasn't some small chunk of ice and rock like most visitors from space. Early measurements suggested 3I Atlas could be anywhere from 6 to 9 miles across, making it comparable in size to Manhattan Island. Imagine looking up at the night sky and seeing something the size of an entire city racing overhead at speeds that defy understanding. Harvard professor Avi Loeb looked at all this data and reached a conclusion that sent shockwaves through the scientific community. According to Loeb and his research team, 3I Atlas might not be a natural object at all. Instead, we could be witnessing humanity's first confirmed encounter with technology created by an intelligent alien civilization. If he's right, then something from another star system has been traveling through space for thousands of years specifically to study us, and we have no idea whether their intentions are peaceful or hostile, breaking every rule of physics. When scientists first calculated the true size of 3I Atlas, many of them thought their computers...
You can't cut us off there.
We don't talk at all about the possibility of alien tech, and I think we should take it into consideration because the object maneuvers in ways that cannot be explained by the force of gravity, that there must be an engine in it.
The alert flashed across secure servers on August 7th. A red flag. The object designated 3I Atlas was off its predicted course. Deep inside NASA and Harvard's astronomy departments, a quiet panic began to ripple. This visitor from another star system, was faster than almost anything ever tracked. Worse, something was actively pushing it, steering it. What began as a routine discovery a month earlier had morphed into a potential crisis. The target was Mars, and with every passing hour, the chance of a close encounter or a direct hit was growing, threatening to change our understanding of the universe forever. The Eye in the South. It all started on a crisp winter night in Chile on July 1st, 2025. Deep in the Atacama Desert, where the air is thinner and the stars burn brighter, a powerful network of telescopes called Atlas had an incredible night. This system is humanity's watchdog, a state-of-the-art defense against rogue asteroids. Its job is to scan the entire night sky every 24 hours, looking for faint specks of light moving where they shouldn't be. And on this night, it found something extraordinary. It was a faint, fuzzy object cataloged almost immediately as a long-period comet. But as analysts dug into the data, a strange realization dawned. This wasn't one of ours. Its trajectory, its speed, its very essence screamed that it came from the vast, dark ocean between the stars. It was only the third interstellar object ever confirmed by humankind. A true alien. The scientific community buzzed with a quiet excitement. The object was named 3I Atlas, the 3I standing for Third Interstellar. The first two such visitors, Oumuamua and Borisov, had rewritten the books on what was possible. Oumuamua was a bizarre, cigar-shaped tumbler, and Borisov looked more like a traditional comet. What secrets would this third messenger from the void bring with it? Initial observations showed a fuzzy cloud, a coma of gas and dust, suggesting it was a chunk of ice and rock, slowly waking up as it neared our sun. It was a fascinating discovery, a chance to peek at the building blocks of another distant solar system. But it's funny, when you think about it, nobody suspected that this faint ghost in the machine was about to become the single most terrifying object in the sky. That initial excitement was about to turn into pure dread. By August 7th, the picture had changed completely. For over a month, astronomers at Harvard and other top institutions had been meticulously tracking 3I Atlas, feeding every new observation into powerful supercomputers. These machines can predict the path of a celestial body with incredible accuracy, accounting for the gravitational pull of the sun.
We don't talk at all about the possibility of alien tech, and I think we should take it into...
So we tried it. I don't know if this is just me. Do we think that this 3I Atlas is something to do with the Anunnaki people who potentially had something to do with building the pyramids? Is that how we got onto this? The Tartarians, yes. Right, who wants to come up and speak their theories? Because my brain's frazzled. Thank you, Jenzy. See, I think aliens have something to do with space. I don't, space, not space, the sea. Yeah, I think they have something to do with the sea as well as space. I don't think it's all fully up there. I think, because you've got to think there's a reason that they stopped going to the sea and they started going to space instead. Because NASA, they first studied the sea, didn't they? There is more in Antarctica.
NASA have finally gone beyond the ice wall, and what they have found is astonishing. We knew the Egyptian pyramids were strange, but it just got even stranger. NASA have found pyramids in Antarctica that are in the exact opposite coordinates of the world to the Egyptian pyramids. These pyramids could not possibly have been this perfectly built by the same civilization all those years ago. So how are they really on our planet?
Exactly,
NASA
Kirsty.
think it is either natural and has not been man-made, but over time civilizations have just added to it to try and claim it as their buildings, or there were some sort of giants helping to build these pyramids that have now gone extinct. Or could it even be some sort of alien civilization? The most popular belief is that there was a civilization of giants that built these structures, but NASA aren't sure how they got the measurements so incredibly accurate. Will we ever find out the true answer about the pyramids? And what do you think the most logical explanation for these pyramids are? I think it's the giants, but let me know what you think in the comments. And to see the satellite images of these pyramids.
This is so scary. Do you remember when Neil Armstrong posted a scary picture of a gigantic pyramid in Antarctica after his visit there with the title, "We are all in danger"? And Instagram immediately deleted his picture. However, 2 years later, during an expedition to the same location, just like Armstrong, they found next to the Antarctica research station a blown hole on one side of the pyramid, supported with improvised metal posts. When they went inside, they discovered a massive old research station with a German flag and a pile of old documents, experiments, technologies, and thousands of secret projects and things I can't mention here. But when they shared their story and pictures with their superiors, they said that they took care of it, but none of this was ever heard again, and the pictures were confiscated, and the whole crew disappeared. This is so scary. Do you remember when Neil Armstrong...
Even Buzz Aldrin was scared when he saw this. In 2016, a satellite took a picture of what experts believed to be a huge pyramid, and other than the fact that it was a good 10 times bigger than the Great Pyramid of Giza at 2 kilometers wide, the strange thing about it was that it was found in Antarctica. Now here's where it gets interesting, because upon hearing about this pyramid, Buzz Aldrin assembled a team to explore the pyramid. Unfortunately, he suffered a heart attack during the mission, but the first thing he tweeted after he recovered was a picture of the pyramid in Antarctica, simply saying, "We are all in danger. It is evil itself," before quickly removing it. A close friend of his later revealed that Buzz told him that we thawed out things in the ice we shouldn't.
That's what I think. I think they're pyramids. I don't think they're like icebergs or like big pointy icebergs. I think they're pyramids that are that cold they're just covered in ice.
But the question remains, what did we find that? Even Buzz Aldrin was scared when he saw this. In 2016...
Oh, not the North Sea song.
All hands, hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die.
Men in Black.
Now some have died and some are alive, and others sail on the sea.
We finally reached one of the pyramids in Antarctica.
I mean, there's a black pyramid in Antarctica, and it was built as a prison? For who?
For us, humanity. You think you're just living your life, but the truth is way bigger than what we've been told. Miles beneath Antarctica's ice lies this massive, ancient structure, an enormous black pyramid. It's not some random formation. It's a relic from a time long before humanity existed. See, ancient texts and whispered knowledge talk about a highly advanced alien race. These beings waged galactic wars both on Earth and across the universe. And Antarctica? Yeah, it was the center of it all. Knowledge, technology. Some even say it was the real Atlantis. And guess what? There was more than one Atlantis. That's why this one is hidden so deep. It's part of something bigger. But back to your question, why a prison? It's wild. The beings who built this pyramid created humans as part of their grand plan. We weren't meant to evolve freely. They needed us to stay limited, stuck in physical form, trapped here on Earth. That's where the Black Pyramid comes in. It's more than just a structure, it's a complex device designed to control energy, both physical and spiritual. Some say the pyramid acts like a barrier between what's inside us and the larger universe. That's why people say we're spiritual beings having a human experience. The Black Pyramid locks us into this experience. And what's scarier, the knowledge about it was buried on purpose. Everything is hidden in plain sight, if you know where to look.
I mean, there's a Black Pyramid in Antarctica, and it was built as a prison? For who?
For us, humanity. You think you're just living your life, but the truth is way bigger than what we've been.
They lied to you. The pyramids of Antarctica aren't just snow-covered mountains.
Kirsty, that's what I'm starting to think. I'm starting to think this was a prison and we've just learnt to develop from having nothing. Like, you know, like like making the most out of a shit situation. So it's like they put us here with nothing. Well, not us directly, but our ancestors were all put here and placed here for a reason. And just left like out of control. And we adapted from that. Yeah. Now I'm starting to feel like that's what's happened.
They told you Antarctica was always ice, but what if I told you it used to be green? We're talking forests, rivers, warm oceans. There's even fossil evidence. Palm trees, ferns, dinosaurs. So how did it all freeze? Satellite scans picked up something insane. Pyramid shapes under the ice. Perfect angles, aligned geometry. Just like Giza, they called it a natural formation. Of course they did. But here's what they did.
A research team vanished after...
Huge Great Pyramids in Antarctica. They jut out of the ice and snow, and they look perfect, just like those in Egypt. One has a perfectly square base that is 2 kilometers square in each direction. However, there is evidence that it could have been free of ice, certainly in certain...
Like, what if... And I could be wrong. Everything's just speculation. What if we were another form, like a form of alien, and maybe there was some sort of danger to us, and that's why they placed us on another planet to re-evolve and start again to keep us safe? Because we don't know what's actually out there. So what if the reason that we're on this planet and we have people have adapted to the gravity level, the oxygen levels, everything else, we've been placed here and then we've evolved from our ancestors that were placed here. Exactly, why do we burn in the sun but animals don't? Exactly. And look, right, if you're from like a hotter country, your body would adapt, your skin, everything adapts to that heat. So we're essentially like chameleons. We become what our surroundings are. If we were... Look at like Eskimos, for example, that lived in snow and their way of living. You adapt to that way of living. Do you think that if we lived in the sea, we would start evolving and eventually we would start growing gills. Like, are our bodies actually capable of a lot more than we think they are? It would obviously take a long, long time. Yeah, it wouldn't just be like, I have a kid, chuck it in the sea and it becomes a mermaid. But do you know what I mean? Like, so I'm now starting to think that we're not, I don't think we are from this planet. I think back when the pyramids were built, I think whatever we evolved from another planet would have then come to this planet to do something to the planet. Whatever they built the pyramids for, whatever purpose, maybe some sort of way of... Hello, Proud Scott. It's... What if I end up with the Men in Black at my door in the morning? And they take me to Area 51 and that's it. I've got to live there because I know too much. The fuck was that noise? So there's something... Because you cannot tell me all these times that NASA and whatever else have gone into space, they haven't found any other human or any kind of living civilization out there. With all them planets, all them, and I don't believe at all that the military bases are for us to have wars with each other. I think it just happens that sometimes we do. I believe our military bases are for when something comes from somewhere else. I don't believe that the reason we have the military is to fight each other and fight our own. I think it's for when we have to fight off whoever's going to come back for us eventually. Send things through meteorites. And obviously, like, it takes us back to, you know, when we got that emergency warning thing on our phones that other Sunday. It takes you back to that and it makes you think and wonder. Firmament. Let's have a look what firmament is. I've never heard of that before. I can't see anything about that. Firmament. Oh.
The Bible describes Earth as a flat disk covered by a solid dome called the firmament, with waters above and below it. Genesis chapter 1 explains that God separated the waters by creating this dome, placing stars and planets as lights attached to its surface.
Not the flat Earth stuff.
Sun and moon move across this dome in predictable patterns to create day and night.
The Simpsons movie, no. Not the dome over Springfield.
The entire structure above the deep waters below. This ancient Hebrew cosmology shows Earth as the center of creation, with heaven literally above the dome and Sheol beneath the foundations. While modern science presents a different picture, billions still find meaning in this biblical worldview, that emphasizes our special place in God's creation. The firmament model actually makes more sense when you consider how ancient people observed the sky and tried to explain natural phenomena without telescopes or space exploration. The Bible describes Earth as a flat...
Launched a Long March 7 rocket packed with cargo for science, medicine, and they're saying there's water above as well.
Now this is scary. You've all heard about the firmament theory. Well, if you haven't, stick around because there's footage. It's a theory that space is fake and no humans can actually leave the atmosphere. In the clip I'm about to show, a plane actually hits the firmament and crashes. Watch the clip. You see the side-by-side comparison with the water on the left side of the screen. It's a model plane to show the difference. You notice how the splash of the model plane in the water is very, very similar to how the plane exploded when it touched what we assume is the firmament. It's like an imaginary barrier that you can't cross, like something more powerful rejecting humans. I think it's interesting, but I also think it's very strange. I am currently live streaming these conspiracies. If you want to watch, press my profile. Now this is scary. You've all heard about the firmament theory. Well, if you haven't, stick around because there's footage. It's a theory that space is fake and no humans can actually leave the atmosphere. In the clip I'm about to show, a plane actually hits the firmament and crashes. Watch the clip.
Simpsons movie told you that we live under a dome, and I'm going to show you how true that is. Here's another video of The Simpsons showing you that we live under the dome or the firmament, and that there's waters above the firmament. See, it cracked the sky, and the waters come down from above. God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. Genesis 1:7. This is why our skies are blue. This is why we can see the moon, and we can see blue behind the moon. Think about this. We can see blue behind the moon, but the moon is supposed to be way out in outer space. It doesn't make sense. The moon is within the firmament. All of our ancient ancestors knew that we live under the firmament. I used to see this all the time when I lived out west. The sun is reflecting on all sides of the firmament, just like you see up top here. Here's the place where the sun never sets. You can see it 24 hours a day because the
This is making sense because of, yeah, when someone said rainbows, Emma just said rainbows, it makes sense. Because how many times does light shine off a window, bounces onto like some sort of water and you see a rainbow reflection? How does a rainbow become arched unless it is in a firmament? I don't believe that the firmament is like a glass dome like what I'm fucking like on The Simpsons, but there's some sort of I don't even know what to call it. It's like, yeah, some sort of atmosphere, like a very dense matter that is going all the way around, which will not allow the light or anything else to get past it. Oh, my brain's fried. Oh my god. How have we got onto this from pyramids? This is what it's going to be like every time we do this, you know. It all, because then I think it'll show us how much everything connects together, doesn't it? So my theory with the pyramids is that I'm going more towards that the pyramids were built by something else on a planet that was once empty. We were then brought here and had to start all over again because they came with their own technology and skills, did it and left. And then they brought us in. And that's why it's like, we're looking at all this and we're like, where the fuck, how the hell is this being built? Well, how did this get here? As long as many other things that are on the planet that we would think, how the fuck did that get here all them years ago? Well, that was the thing. In the firmament, they said about heaven being above the firmament, but they never mentioned anything about a hell, so are we the hell? Is this hell? Are we in hell? We're here for a punishment. Have we been brought from another... It feels like it. Have we been brought from somewhere else and this is like our punishment, and then we've all just bred from there. We've been breeding and then it's created a whole civilization. Hell on earth. Exactly. They're saying hell on earth. Oh my god, this is deep. Oh, Rory! Thank you, Rory, darling. Oh my god, am I on the populars still, or have I fallen down the populars? I forgot about that. Thank you, Rory. I'm at a loss. $48. $44. Thank you, guys. It started off pyramids, but we've got onto something else because it all kind of connects together, doesn't it? My brain can't handle this. Yeah, it is. It's a whole rabbit hole. I overthink loads, especially when I think tomorrow night we should look into what's more. I think to move on from this and like go along from the pyramids, we should go look more into space now. And tomorrow night we should look more into what's at 7:30, Proud Scott, darling. So 7:30 I come on a bit earlier and get everyone in the room, and then we start at 7:30. So I think we should venture more out into space tomorrow night and maybe do more what's more further out there, because it's deep, isn't it? Like, there's a lot. And I could do this all night, to be honest, but I feel like it's like a series we're going to have to work along like every day and get more and more into it, because there's so much more. And then maybe at the end we can like piece it all together. Then maybe after this is a deep one to start with. I didn't realise the pyramids would go this deep and how much you find out. But that's why I think it's good, because all of us know different things. So it's like I wouldn't have even known what half of these things were unless you guys had said, oh, look into this, look into that, this theory. And I'm like, what the hell? So I think, thank you, Tracy. I think if we just keep maybe every night, tomorrow we'll go a bit more further into space and what's going on out there, especially with what's going on at the moment, because I do believe this emergency siren we got, thank you, Tanya, this emergency siren thing that we had on our phone is something to do with this and this rock thing, this 33i whatever Atlas thing. I think that's why they did it. Nothing to do with Israel and bombings. I think it's something to do with the 3i Atlas, because it's very convenient. And I do believe that our government wouldn't warn us beforehand if something was happening. I think they would just tell us on the day and be like, this is happening now, guys, sorry, you're fucked. But then they'll have already planned a way off the planet and we're all fucked. That's what I think will happen. Whether that happens while we're alive, fuck knows. But they know that something's going to happen. They'll try to conceal it from us as much as possible. And we cannot allow them to. Yes, Kirsty, there is. Oh my god, this is deep. Right, I'm going to get some sleep because my head's banging. And I'm going to be overthinking all night. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, guys. I might have to start getting emergency outfits planned and fire water bottles, batteries, torches. Have like an emergency kit. We'll behave better tomorrow. I'll let you off, Proud Scott. Did you like this kind of live? Was this better than doing the... I'm obviously still going to do like FYP a bit in the day. But I think this is good on a night. I feel like it gets your brain going as well a bit, rather than just like brain rot shit on TikTok. Okay, good. So we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to move on from... We'll look into more like the firmament stuff. And then we'll look into more the... more to do with space. We'll move it on to space a bit tomorrow night at 7:30. Thank you, guys. Right, I'm going to get some sleep because I'm absolutely exhausted. And I was up at 6 o'clock this morning. So, good night, everybody, and we'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, tag me in videos to do with this as well. If you see anything, please tag me in it. Anything you want to talk on or that you think is like... If anything is... my other... Tag this account. Tag this one, the second account. And I think anything, we'll deep dive into it all crazy and see what happens. Yeah, not Sophie Bailey 2. Thank you, guys. Because I'd like to know all your theories as well, not just mine and what I think it is. I want to show everyone's theories because people think different things, and I'm glad that people have spoke up today. But I really need to get some sleep now. So good night, everybody. Thank you so much for everything. Of course you can, Genzi, yes. Right, good night, guys. I know it will. Bye.